Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Summerween. I was going through the movie shelf today and I thought, boy, wouldn't this be a fun one to talk about? Well, we're going back to one of the greatest horror films of all time. Of course, I'm talking about John Carpenter's Halloween. Now, I love talking about the 4K for Halloween. And of course, I'm talking about this one right here. I'm sure you all have this in your collection. This is the Scream Factory 4K. This is what people think about when Halloween on 4K comes to mind. I'm the same. Why wouldn't I think about this one? But did you remember, or do you know, that there was a previous Halloween 4K that came out on the 40th anniversary and signified two things: that 4K was coming, and it also signified that something else was gone. I didn't buy this initially because I was annoyed I didn't see a certain logo on something. Well, what am I talking about? Right here, guys, is the 40th anniversary 4K UHD of John Carpenter's Halloween. I'm wondering who out there has this. Does this look familiar to you? As you'll see, the one I got even has the hype sticker that says Halloween 40. It's got the 4-0 and the Halloween logo, 40 Years of Terror, the night he came home. Now, what logo am I talking about? Well, up until this point, Anchor Bay had always done Halloween. It was something that was just a part of their, catalog. And Anchor Bay was something I didn't realize went away until it was just gone. I mean, I don't really know what happened. I learned now that I think that the license from Lionsgate kind of lapsed, and then those two guys that now have Anchor Bay got it. And, now it's a different Anchor Bay, but it's still really cool that, Anchor Bay is back. But when this came out, I remember looking at this on the shelf and saying, why doesn't it say Anchor Bay anywhere? It just says Lionsgate. That's still something I'm not so sure of why they did that. Now, Lionsgate has, the home video rights to the first movie, and I believe they even did a 4K Steelbook, which is the same disc as this, and had some pretty cool artwork as far as I remember. I remember liking it, quite a lot, quite frankly. But this was a release I passed on when it came out of sheer stupidity, really, because I'm a collector. I should have gotten this, but I didn't grab it because it didn't have that infamous logo on there for Anchor Bay. Now, talking about this release is going to be fun because I actually rewatched this version to see if it's something that maybe collectors out there would either A, want, or B, just be interested in, or if they don't have Halloween on 4K at all, is it worth it to get this one? Let's go back and reference the Scream Factory, and what you see behind me is actually the Scream Factory 4K. Now, here's the blanket statement I'll say. Now, this is a custom slipcover I have over this, in case somebody's wondering. This is the absolute... I can say anything I want to about Scream Factory. I mean, you can have your critiques about Scream Factory, and a lot of them are valid, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But one thing I have to say is their release of John Carpenter's Halloween, in my opinion, is literally a perfect 10 out of 10 release. They put everything on this. I mean everything. Now, some people don't exactly love these box arts. They've grown on me. What can I say? Like any great release, you can put the original artwork on there. Collector's edition, you'll see at the top. And this one, there's other discs in the player. This one was 3 discs. And you've got the movie with the original Blu-ray color timing, which is really cool. We did a video on that not too long ago, which was the initial Anchor Bay Blu-ray, which really kind of de-blued the movie, which some people didn't like and other people liked. I personally it is what it is. I think for history's sake, it's great that we have it. I always love having certain things that came out. Here's the Blu-ray with the 4K restoration, and of course, that's the 4K that is in the player right now. But the thing that makes the Scream Factory release so perfect is the amount of features that they gave us. They raked the coals over for this with special features. There's every documentary you could have on there. You've got A Cut Above the Rest, Halloween 2000 Unmasked, the extended cut with the TV inserts in here. This one is just a home run. And it's also a new 4K scan. This was a new 2021 4K scan from the original negative approved by Dean Cundy. Now, why is that something I'm mentioning? Because I don't think what was used on this right here, guys, is even remotely the same scan. I noticed a difference. Now, the question is it good? Is it bad? What is it? I don't know. I was looking into this. Maybe some experts out there can help with this in the comments section. I heard that this 4K right here was taken from an inner positive. Because I can say this version, it looks great. I'll talk about more of that in a second. But this version does look the best. It does. The Scream Factory version does look, quite frankly, perfect. But let's talk about this one. Now, this, like I said, this is the 40th anniversary. I gotta say, the design on this is actually pretty cool. I mean, you'll see that you've got this slick, kind of glossy look. I did go on eBay and get this copy that had the hype sticker on it. I love a great hype sticker, and I love that 40 in there. But I do like that. It's very sleek. The night he came home, there's nothing they really screwed up about this. On the back, we've got a lot of similar features that we'd see on previous releases where Michael's up the stairs with the knife. You got 3 images that have been used a ton. There are some special features on here which we will talk about. But as far as the release goes, that does look pretty slick, I gotta say. But let's look into this. Here's the case, guys. Pretty much the same thing without the gloss. Can't beat that original logo, which I think, yeah, tattooed on me right there. I love it. I love it. It's perfect. Now, the 2 discs in here are as such. I wanted to have the other one in the background just for display, but look at that. The 2 discs in here are, in fact, they look like the anniversary discs that Anchor Bay themselves did in that media book, which we covered as well with the same video on the initial Anchor Bay Blu-ray. They both have similar looks, although you'll notice one of them, it's not the camera. No, genuinely, the Blu-ray one has a much lighter tone than the 4K one. And pretty interesting. Now, we do have our Trancas International symbols there, but you'll also see it's Lionsgate. So that's what our discs look like. Now, the question is, does it look good? By comparison to previous Blu-ray releases, especially from the Scream Factory Blu-ray on, honestly, yeah, this one looks phenomenal. This one looks really good. Here's one thing I will say. It's very, very sharp, but there's a crispness that this one has that makes it genuinely feel like a boutique label 4K. Now, what does that mean? You know, I use Vinegar Syndrome as a reference point because they do all their stuff in-house. They all have a similar look with their 4Ks, and it looks infinitely sharp. Like, just, it looks literally done as great as you can. That's the way the Scream Factory one looks. This one looks crisp, it looks good, but it doesn't have that boutique label shine, if that makes sense. Now, that's not necessarily a knock, and one thing I will say about this release is it does have a really great cinematic vibe to it. I mean, genuinely, it looks very cinematic, and I like it quite a lot. Is this the way I would prefer to watch it over the Scream Factory one? Yes and no. If you came over to the house right now just to hang out with me and you're like, Christian, let's watch Halloween, let's set the vibes, and you pull this one out, I'll say, let's do it. Let's do it because it looks really good. I would give the picture quality on this an 8 out of 10. Now this one, I'd give it a perfect 10. But it's not bad whatsoever. I mean, it does look really, really good. And it has like that cinematic feel to it. It just doesn't have that boutique level cinematic quality restoration look. And maybe you can give this one a pass. I don't know, because this came out in, I think it was 2018. Yeah, this one came out in 2018. So it was earlier in the 4K expansion. I think 4K, when did 4K really start? I don't think I got a player for 4K until maybe a year after this. As a matter of fact, I remember when this release came out, I initially was going to get it, you know, just to have it. It's Halloween, for God's sakes. But I think I passed on it because the silly reasons, like I said, of, you know, it not being an Anchor Bay release. I was like, why doesn't it say Anchor Bay? Because I was already a fan of Anchor Bay by that point. But also, like I said, I didn't have a player. So, and I kind of look at myself as somewhat of a barometer on when and how, you know, things catch on. If I get it, that means it's everywhere now. People should have it. And so I got a 4K player the next year. So this was a little ahead of the curve for me. So it just wasn't in the cards for me to get at the time. But as I get older and I love cataloging the history of releases of great horror films, I said, I've got to get my hands on the Lionsgate 2018 4K 40th anniversary release of Halloween. Now, what do you say we look at the menu screen and see how that all fares? Because maybe it's going to be pretty cool. Obviously, you see what the 4K is from Scream Factory. Let's go check out what the Lionsgate one has to offer. All right, guys, so the menu screen's nice. Look, they've got like this red flare up there. I don't know why, but I don't hate it. I actually like it. Play movie. And we've got setup. Let's see what setup says. Audio. We've got an Dolby 7.1. And then we got the English mono. Very nice. We got the mono soundtrack on there. Of course, we've got scene selection. Special features. Let's see what we got. Audio commentary with John and Jamie Lee. The Night She Came Home documentary. Very nice. Very, very nice. On location 25 years later. We've got the TV version footage. The trailer. TV spots. And it looks like you can find a lot of them. There's 3 of them here. Very nice. What else is on here? Radio spots and bookmarks. Okay, I don't have any bookmarks. You can add bookmarks. Pretty cool. Very simple menu screen, but I always love that pumpkin. So guys, there you have it. This is just an interesting piece of Halloween history in and of itself. Granted, it's not that old, but time has gone by, and this release is all but forgotten about. And even when it does get mentioned, it's usually referenced in terms of that steelbook that came out, which did have really good art, but this was the first 4K for Halloween. It was fairly early in the 4K lifespan that we've had, and while it doesn't fare as great as the Scream Factory one, I do think this one is a perfect release, and I recommend that one over any of them. If you're a Halloween fan, or maybe you can get this at a really cheap price, I'd say check it out. Like I said, I went on eBay and got mine because I really wanted that hype sticker, the Halloween 40, and I got it. So, yeah, guys, I wanted to go over this today. An interesting piece of Halloween history, the first 4K UHD release of the classic John Carpenter's Halloween. Let me know what you guys think about this release. Did you get it when it came out? I'd love to know. Thank you guys for watching. This is your old pal CHH, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.